Namaste and very good evening to one and all. I'm LC Lango, a leadership and behavioral expert. Welcome to Leaders Connect 360 Foundation's episode LC0264. Leaders Connect 360 Foundation is a non-profit organization aligned with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Our mission is to invite 1,000 plus leaders and create 1,000,000 leaders. Every Wednesday, we come together from 6:30 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. IST on Zoom, live to gain insights from top management leaders and last week of the month from authors. And once every quarter, we take it offline in different cities to network, support, and grow together. Because at Leaders Connect 360, we strongly believe that leaders create more leaders. Before we kickstart the episode, a quick reminder to everyone, please keep your videos on for an engaging experience. And first-time visitors, check out the WhatsApp, Facebook, and LinkedIn links in the chat box to stay connected and grow with us. This episode is being recorded for our community archives. Now, let's set the energy high. If you're excited and ready for an impactful session, drop a thumbs up or a smiley in the chat. That's amazing. And before we go, let me introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Vignesh Raja, advisor, YNOS Venture Engine, strategy consultant, and a keynote speaker. Let me also introduce Mr. Pankaj, managing partner, Bija Training, who will be interacting with our guest alongside our panel discussion leader. Dr. Ishwarya Jayachandran, a corporate trainer and 360 assessment specialist, is our panel discussion leader. Let's start the session and get some wonderful insights. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kalai. Good evening, everyone. A special good evening and welcome to Mr. Vignesh for joining us today for this episode 0264. So I'm Pankaj Vyas, managing partner, CPO for Bija Training Private Limited, and I welcome you all on behalf of Leaders Connect 360, the Mass Leadership and Bija Training. So before we move forward, yes, I would officially like to welcome our guest, Mr. Vignesh, along with our panel discussion leader through a mode of welcome video. And yes, also, I want to add to this point that, no topic could have been better than this today. That is focus in a distracted world. This is one thing which I believe each and every one is struggling to focus, right? Because the focus span has become very low for various reasons. So let's see what is there, we are going to learn today from our expert, Mr. Vignesh. So before we start, Arul, can we have our welcome video for our guest and our visitors, please? Thank you so much, Arul. So, sir, officially welcome to the forum. And Dr. Ishwarya, over to you as well. Welcome.
Thanks, Mr. Pankaj, for the warm welcome, and thanks to Arul and Leaders Connect team for having me here. And it's a pleasure to interact with Dr. Ishwarya.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so much, sir. So, I leave it to Dr. Ishwarya and you for the panel discussion as it is already 6:38. So, over to you, Ishwarya.
thank you, Pankaj. Thank you, Vignesh Raja sir, for accepting our invite and being here. So we are so grateful for you. And today's topic is all about focus over distractions, because in our daily life we are surrounded by lots of distractions, the mobile phones are come, then social media, and what can we say, like unnecessary thoughts and other things that take away our attention, right? That truly matters. So on that note, I am posting my first question over here, sir. With constant notifications and digital overload, how can professionals train themselves to stay focused on what truly matters?
Great. Thanks for this first question. So I think focus, actually speaking, has become a commodity, or probably something which is invaluable in recent times. Because what has actually happened is something which was a very constant use has actually reduced. And thanks to the amazing level of distractions which are there in front of us. And these distractions can be a very simple notification, email, and probably the phone. I would say the mobile phone is a constant. In fact, while I would say it's a very positive tool, or probably a very prominent and powerful tool, it also is a very important aspect on how we leverage the tool for our own advantage. So, considering that we're focusing on employee and probably the employee's life cycle, so typically think about the situation an employee typically goes through. So, it so happens most of employees today are connected on the digital devices, from the laptops to mobile phones to whatnot. And if you look beyond, it's not only the social media, it's even your Outlook, the emails which we access, as well as the Teams, or probably any of the Google Meets and everything. So, which means what is typically happening is it has so happened. In fact, I would say while COVID has been a game changer in terms of increasing digital connectivity and having people use tech and digital devices, it's also led us to overusage in amazing ways. And a very simple example I like to quote here is most often you would have seen that an employee is actually on leave, right? Probably an out of office. And in fact, that person is not supposed to respond to an email. That person, he or she, actually is on leave or a holiday. But you'll be amazed that person will respond to a chat, or probably a office group, or probably the WhatsApp groups, or probably any of these emails which are supposedly urgent, right? So I think it's a little unfortunate. So I think the most important thing is for us to understand the level of distractions which are there in the midst of us. And on that particular note, like I did mention, emails are crazy things. In fact, I'm very sure, in fact, even amongst all of us here, even so, normally we have this element of work-life balance or work-life harmony or whatnot. But it so happens that there is no clear demarcation between where work ends and where our personal life begins. So what actually happens is we tend up accessing email on official email back home when you're supposed to be spending time with family. So it's unfortunate, but it happens. So I think it's a very thin line, because it so happens that since we are digitally connected, we end up accessing these devices and we are confined in a cage. So I would say that as an employee, the most important thing is to understand and observe which are the areas we are probably overusing. So a simple idea is, in fact, in the European and the US markets, you will see that, in fact, I'm sure many of us would have actually seen, why is it you send emails beyond office hours? So in fact, for them, it's considered to be completely different, right? For them, it's a complete different culture where after office hours, you're not supposed to send emails. But here, it's so happens that since we are digitally connected, we happen to use it and we happen to respond to emails. So I think it is also a question of how we use discretion and understand the difference between importance and urgency. I understand that since we are digitally connected and since we also are probably virtually working, and probably since companies are required to be, or probably employees are required to be active all through, there is this very, very thin line of demarcation on when and where this ends and begins. So on that particular note, I know just going a little crossover on this particular point, it is also important to understand the responsibility of that individual and also the management to clearly define this so that there's no ambiguity in this particular part. But the most important point is to understand where this particular boundary is so that you respect the boundaries and ensure that you're constantly doing it. On that particular note, it's also important to understand if it is an urgent work, you can't ignore it. You can't say you check it just because I'm saying it in this discussion. Yeah, I'll probably respond tomorrow. So I think it's a very, very thin line of understanding on which one has to be categorically addressed and which one can possibly be pushed to the next day. I think it's a level of common sense, discretion, and sensibility on how you use it, leverage, and appropriately act upon it. So this is on the particular part on email. I just took email as one simple example. Moving quickly to the WhatsApp or all these digital devices, beyond the office space as well, it's also important to understand how much we use. So in fact, I'm very sure all of us are aware of this, the digital tools and also the time where how much we are using the digital devices. So in fact, interestingly, I did some interaction with some students and some entrepreneurs very recently. It's fascinating that on an average, people spend on the digital devices almost 8 hours, 8 hours, and within that 8 hours, almost 6 hours are spent on social media. And this is on a very general lay individual or an adult. And focusing on the students, it's big, it's increasing. So, which is a very, very sad part. But I think on a very, very fundamental level, it's very, very important to understand how much we use discretion on using these digital devices so that we stay focused. So in fact, extending on this particular idea, I also want to make observations on how we are so glued on to these digital devices. You see on the roads, people driving the bike and probably answering phone calls, people driving cars and using devices, people maybe walking on the road and accessing digital devices, screens. So and I mean, these are crazy things. And the worst part of all is in a family setting, three people or probably four people, husband, wife, two children, all of them in the same room and accessing digital device. I mean, these are crazy things, right? I mean, while we are thinking that these are very, very small aspects, very sadly, as employers or employees, like we probably end up giving or setting a very, very bad example to the next generation. Because as you typically see, the kids don't really use it out of nowhere, because they feel, they see the parents, they see the teachers, they see the role models in front of them, and they think, oh, you know what? Probably it is a normal behavior to use a digital device, so I better use it. So in fact, if you are a parent, if you are a student, if you are a teacher, if you are a leader, I think you have to use discretion, sensibility, and ensure that you're not setting, or we are not setting a bad example to people. Because I'm very sure people here in this forum will always say the younger generation is using the digital devices way beyond, because at least we probably are much mature. We know, we've seen the entire transition cycle from your Doordarshan to the entire pages to the entire cycle. But however, the youngsters or probably the kids probably already are waking up to a mobile phone or probably the digital devices. So I think it's very, very important that we set a very realistic idea, and we ensure that we set role examples and models to all of it. So I think that's a very, very important point.
Yes, as you rightly mentioned, we have to set the boundaries of using this. No? People will say we 90s kids will be going to school and coming and studying, but I used to talk, see, nowadays we don't have any distractions on that time. we have only Doordarshan, we will see only Valiyum Valiyum channel, then we come to Sun TV, then KTV, it's all over. But nowadays, kids are having a lot of things, but even though they are taking their responsibilities and they are steady. So we used to talk with the parents as well, like be a role model. If you are using mobile phones, they will also use mobile phones. Point was clearly explained, it was rightly said. So thank you so much. On that note, the second thing is multitasking improving productivity, or is it silently reducing our performance on decision making ability?
Okay, so I think multitasking is a double-edged sword, I would say, because many times when you say multitasking, we feel that, yeah, see, this individual, this person can run, this person can walk, this person can jog, this person can speak, this person can do a marathon, this person can do very many things. But the most important thing is, since the keyword which you mentioned is with regard to decision-taking ability. So which means you can probably all of us can use multitasking as long as there are not two conflicting activities. For instance, maybe let's do this activity. Maybe in fact, all of us can also try doing this activity. I want us to write as well as read at the same time. Can we do it? Maybe you can just take a piece of paper, note, and probably try to read as well as write. Can we do it? Can we try? I mean, since we have a forum here, I'm just trying to ask people here, take a piece of paper, try to write, and then probably read. So I want you to do two specific tasks. So these are two specific tasks, right? And I'm sure, try for yourself. If you can probably do it, let me know, message me. I'd love to see if you can do it brilliantly well, because the most important thing is if you see, maybe if I'll give it a minute to check if people have any input or feedback. If anyone has accomplished this task, I would like to hear from people here. Has anyone achieved the objective? Writing a sentence and reading, two different activities at the same time. Not writing what you read. I want you to write and read at the same time. Okay, Arul says no. I mean, if someone can probably do it, let me know. I'd love to learn. So yeah, Aparna ma'am says it's difficult. Yeah. So the basic idea here is these are cognitive skills or activities or tasks which require us to do a focused activity, and which is where what I would say is if there are two activities which require our mental cognizance, you will not be able to do. And so which means, coming back to it, the same thing. Okay, now let me ask you to do another task. Take your mobile phone, walk and talk. How easy is that? Walk and talk. So yeah, are you able to understand the difference? So which means walking, you're not required to talk. I mean, obviously you have to be watchful of the stairs and steps, but otherwise you should be able to fairly walk and pick up the phone and talk. So which means you're doing a physical activity and then doing a cognitive activity. So which means that would be I think that's something which you're fairly doing. So the basic idea here is, so the fundamental guideline, or probably the idea and input which I would like to offer here is, as long as you do not have multiple cognitive skills which are required, we should be able to fairly accomplish. So use this as a basic guideline and probably do. So, and which is where you see people walking and probably jogging and probably listening to podcasts or any of these. But the same may not be applicable where we are required to take decision skills or two different activities at the same time. So use your discretion on how you will want to do it, because obviously it's going to be very, very difficult, and which is where in an office or a professional setting, it's going to be very difficult. Because what happens, think about the activities. I think this will typically change or probably depend, will probably vary on the nature of work each of us will typically do. Some of us will have to maybe make a phone call and probably interact with someone. So at that time, maybe you can probably check for some records and then speak. Maybe that is something at best you can do. But whenever you're interacting with someone, your focus will have to be constantly there. You can't probably write an email and probably speak to that person. So I think the most important thing is, again, focus will have to be on a single tasking where in an office environment where there is a need of it. Having said that, if you think there are some two activities where one is a lesser decision making skill and other can be parallelly done, you can very well do it. So I would say that considering that we have people in varied forum, whether sales or finance or marketing or HR or probably leadership and different qualities, I would suggest that you take it up, have this basic guideline in terms of what are the one or two or three different activities you wish to do at the same time. If you feel that there are decision making or probably cognitive skills which are required in multiple instances, stop doing multiple things. I mean, doesn't work, because most often you will end up doing you will end up squandering all these activities, or probably do a messy job on all of it. So be watchful about it, and if you think there is a complementary effect to it, probably go ahead and do so. Use discretion, use sensibility and approach it. But the mantra in the office of official world is largely on single tasking, because the other scientific idea which has also been understood is the minute you start with one particular task, there is a high likelihood that you're able to do, because there is also a lot of correlation that people say that procrastination is something which a lot of people suffer, or productivity is something which suffer. And what I have also understood on the basis of my interaction with a lot of people is many times they do not start the work. And what happens is, many instances, the minute you start that particular activity, you will have a higher likelihood of completing it. So I would recommend that the minute you start the activity, there's a high likelihood of completing, and be watchful on doing multiple tasks at the same time. So I highly recommend being watchful, being mindful, so that you're able to appropriately take it up and do justice to it. Because obviously, none of us want to do a shoddy job, right? Because at the end of the day, the client is not going to appreciate it. Your boss is not going to accept it, and obviously, you yourself are going to be annoyed with it. Because at the end of the day, we are working for pleasure, and we feel that we want to be proud of any task which we are offering. Because it's not always about what the boss or your friend or probably other people are going to say, but at the end of it, we have to be happy about each and every task which goes out of it, right? Because it's more about the pride or probably the ability of showcasing myself. It's more about my credibility, my competence, and obviously, I don't want to do a shoddy job and make a fool of myself.
Yes, that's great, sir. Completing one task in a full manner rather than going to multitasking one, sir. Yes, on that note, the third question was here. What daily habits can leaders and employees adopt to minimize distractions and to improve their deep work, sir?
Okay, so here we are talking about two different aspects. One is the leader and probably the employee. So it always starts at the top. So which means setting clear goals and guidelines, right? So I think that is a very, very important. So if any of us are a leader, be very clear on communicating what is expected of your team. Because as long as you're going to be clear in articulating that message, that should be fine. Let me give some very, very simple example. People end up attending some meetings where they're not required at all. But they will attend for that meeting only because the boss or probably the manager or probably the teammate called. So it's a very, very simple aspect, right? So here the question is, it's more a question of assertion or assertive skill, which is put in place. But the point is, just because the boss or probably the team or probably the lead or someone is called, you end up going. But at the end of the day, at the end of the meeting, like say you stay there for 1 hour and then you think, oh, why did I even sit for that meeting? Did I add value? Did the company make use of me in that particular task? And at the end of it, you wonder, your 1 hour has gone, and probably the company also will think, okay, did this person make any value addition to it? So which means it's very, very clear to articulate the agenda of the meeting and ensure that what is the core agenda, who are the key stakeholders, and the what is expected of each of these people. And many times people would have been put in CC, but just because they are there in CC, they end up attending. So I think this is again a very, very important quality where the management will have to clearly articulate. Don't worry, you don't have to be present in every single meeting. If you think you're there and you're going to be adding value, please step in and contribute. Otherwise, that's fine. You can probably send a message on what you think your update going to be, and probably you're not going to add any further value. Please communicate and step out. So I think it's a cultural aspect. Unfortunately, we still have people who believe, oh, I've copied in the mail, I'm being invited, I've been invited, right? So there's more like a privilege statement. Oh, I'm invited, so I have to be there. So I mean, like all these are wrong notions. So like he said, so while we are discussing about the aspect on focus, distraction, or whatnot, so here it's a simple assertive skill which goes unnoticed. So the question here is, all these are very, very small elements, but it's very, very important. And like I said, the earlier points in terms of the emails, be watchful about when you will want to send emails. Very, very simple. So I think which is where the management will also have to clearly articulate which emails are urgent, important. So you can probably say, okay, it's a client-facing interview or client-facing email. It has to go within a couple of hours. Or probably it's an internal email, 24 hours. Or probably something which is ad hoc, probably take it up as per the needs, or probably something which is not a very, very important one. So which means clustering on which is the level of importance, so that the employee also will decide, oh, you know what, this is urgent aspect. So irrespective of whatever it is, it has to go out because client facing, I have to take charge, come what may. The second is the next level within 24 hours. The next is 48, 72 hours. The next probably can wait. So I think having this level of clarity of thought will help so that it's a win-win, right? Because on one side, I'm achieving the objective of the company management, and I'm also peaceful, mindful, and sane. So I think it completely helps in ensuring that as a very, very holistic view, so that you're able to do it. And another input, I'm not too sure how many companies are actually doing this. Some schools, I know they have this particular idea of drop everything and read. So, there is a specific time which is allocated to huddle up. So, I would like to take some small example of huddle up meetings. I think some companies still follow, probably some tech companies or probably some varying companies take this opportunity where it maybe in the start of the day, let's say bite-sized meetings, like 15-minute meetings, what's important and action items to be addressed for the day or for the week. So I would say that these are very, very small initiatives which can be adopted. But again, it need not be adopted by every single company. You can probably decide in what extent it has to be adopted and can be replicated accordingly. And the last important thing which I would like to recommend for the employees is notifications. So we already discussed in the initial bit that is the notifications play a very, very distractive aspect. So I'm very sure all of us are already aware of the various ways by which we can put notifications off or probably stop or stay clear of notifications. Another very, very simple idea is you don't have to have your WhatsApp or probably your internet on all, because many times what we simply do is we feel that we have to be available for people always. Doesn't need to be, because if it's something urgent, people are going to be bound to call you. So I think these are, some tools and some tips which I've generally tried and that typically works. And considering as an extension to employees beyond work, it's also important that at home, let's say you're landing up at home, that first 30, 40 minutes, important. You're there physically present, mentally present, be mindful and be watchful. You've landed into the house. So give that time completely at home. And likewise, the last 1 hour, because there's also a lot of research which has said people are losing sleep. And again, this is again another input I've been hearing from people that the people, because of social media, because of digital devices, because of laptop, because of extensive usage of devices, sleep is something which is going for a toss. So what I would highly recommend is the end of the day. So let's say, irrespective of whatever time you're sleeping, 1 hour before your sleep time, stay clear of any form of digital devices. And some smaller tips which I'd like to offer is, if you can avoid the blue screen and probably put in the gray screen. Again, all these are very, very small things which I'm sure most are aware, but if they're not practicing, again, I'm only sharing all those which I practice, because beyond a particular time, I have my do not disturb mode, which means certain calls will get filtered. And I also know when the color changes, it's time I better go and sleep. And I put my devices outside. So I think I'll be sure that over course of time, we'll probably have separate boxes where people will have to leave their devices before going in or going out. So I think the basic idea here is, how do we ensure and maximize we get as much deep work and reduce distractions?
Yes, great, sir. As you rightly said, few things matter for any big things, right? These are all the small steps that we can take, like using mobile phones, not using mobile phones before getting into sleep before 1 hour. That was a good advice. I think I should take away this advice from today onwards. Thank you so much, sir. So on that note, we are moving to the fourth point, right? How can organizations create a workplace culture that encourages focus without compromising collaboration and innovation?
Okay, so with like I did mention, everything starts from the top. So as long as the management is very clear. So for instance, during a brainstorming session, so you can't have people using a device or probably just chatting up and probably doing things. So to what extent are we creating a very cohesive unit, right? So I think it's very, very important that the focus is largely on teamwork, team play, collaboration, innovation, and increasing the motivation levels in the workplace. And towards that element, how are we mindful, present, and active physically? And when I say physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever you want to say, so it's important that there is a dedicated time which is focused. And like I said, so there are different ways by which companies adopt these. Some companies play with the huddler, so which means let's say there is a very high focus team which needs to close specific activities. There can be some small huddle groups where 10-15 minute meetings, people, irrespective of where they are based out of, online or probably digital or probably in a physical setup, just 10-15 minutes, let's say 9:15 a.m. IST. So come wherever they are, they will huddle up, discuss, and then catch up. So the basic idea here is there are specific ways by which companies can enforce these small elements so that it increases the level of connect and a very focused level of interaction. Because the most important thing is physical interaction is a very, very important part. And the more you step in and contribute, it's very, very useful. Because just imagine digital, there's been, I mean, COVID and whatnot, there's been a time where people benefited by working across different regions. But now, again, a lot of people, a lot of companies are feeling it pretty good to come back to office spaces and connect and share ideas, thoughts, and also promote. Because many times it's a very, very subtle thing. In fact, many times you're more than happy to connect and probably move by management by walking around, right? So you just go pick up a coffee and then walk. And a very, very simple aspect of asking a person, what's happening, how's it going, and then when that person opens up and shares a particular message, it helps in increasing collaboration. So basic idea here is all these very, very minor small chit chat and discussion helps in enhancing focus as well. Because here it may look as if, oh, these people are whiling away time. No, it doesn't work that way, because all these are completely related with work, and it will enhance the way in which they are helping the productivity as well. So I would say, quickly coming back on this particular point, to what extent are the management and the workplace comfortable about clearly articulating this idea so that people are clear on clear usage, or in terms of what can be used, what cannot be used, how do I use it, how do I leverage my time, and when can I answer a call, when should I avoid, or probably as long as the clarity is established and what is the expectation, then I think the employer is set and probably the employees is set as well. And there is no pressure on the individual, because otherwise the person will have to think, oh, there are 5 meetings, I have to be present in all the 5 meetings. So that itself creates a undue pressure on that individual. So I think the important takeaway I would say is creating a culture whereby focus is actually rewarded and not attending meetings or any interactions for the sake of discussions. So I would highly encourage that. It's a cultural aspect where the articulation is very, very clearly done by the management, and they also set an example. So I think it's also because, along the same lines, just imagine if the management sends an email at say 10 o'clock, what is the message I'm setting? So I think this is a very, very clear idea that here in the earlier example I said about the parent and the kid. So the same example is going to apply with a boss and probably the employee as well. So which means if the manager or probably the leader or probably someone in the senior position is going to send an email at say 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, it is believed that, oh, so this is what people have to do. So it sends a very, very wrong impression. I know it's a digital and probably a global world, but it's important to have the sensibility put in place so that we are very, very watchful and we're not sending a wrong message and example to people out there.
Great, sir. Great. That was a great message, sir. So, in an AI-driven and fast-paced world, what will be the most valuable skill to maintain focus, resilience, and long-term success?
Great. I think this AI has been the hot topic for the last few years. So in fact, and it still continues to be. What I would say is wherever AI is able to automate tasks, great, go ahead and do it. Because the most important thing is leverage. Because the most important thing is let AI do it. Because many times there's this aversion. Oh my God, we discussed about ChatGPT and today we're talking about Claude, Opus, and everything. So the most important thing is let's not get bogged down by it. Like let's use this as a tool and go ahead with it, but always understand that whatever can be automated, great, go ahead and use it. But the most important thing is always understand that it is you, the individual self, which is going to be putting forth in terms of solving problems and in a human-driven work in terms of helping people, in terms of connecting, in terms of relation, in terms of emotion, in terms of managing people's expectations. I think there is a whole lot of challenges which I'm very sure the AI or probably your super AI or probably the AGI or any of these will probably still have some more time. So what I would recommend is let's focus on those which is not going to be touched. And let's not worry. I mean, the most important idea is not to get bogged down by it. I mean, that's fine. As individuals, we have to ensure that we accept and adopt AI. But like he said, it's also important that we focus on areas which AI can never touch. Just imagine if probably an employee is not doing well, AI probably can share a few words. But the most important thing is you going there and comforting that individual and giving some words of wisdom and advice is something which never going to be applied by tech or AI. So I think the most important thing is understanding and appreciating the human element and how it can be done. And in a digital world, how can each of us remain sane? So I think the interesting point, maybe looking back at my own areas in terms of how I've been using technology. In fact, I just realized that it's been almost 20 years where I've been using digital or the technology itself. Ever since we had this dishnet DSL until the very many technological innovations which happened. So the last few years, it's important that we also start to develop mindfulness. I'm very sure all of us are actually aware of it, just that each of us will want to practice in different ways. I think when you talk about mindfulness, there are different topics which can emerge. It can be gratitude, it can be journal writing, it can be probably meditation, chanting. I mean, it could be anything. The most important thing is, yeah, affirmations as well. Thanks, Arul, for that. So there are very many things and each to their own. So I would highly recommend that whichever works for you, go ahead and do it. But the most important thing is stay in the moment and probably focus on that. I think that is the most important thing. And on that note, I would also like to request people that you may want to focus on taking up hobbies. So I'm very sure hobbies play a very, very important role. It could be, okay, maybe let me ask this setup here. How many of you have some very interesting hobbies? You can probably type it up. I just want to hear from you all. You can probably type, chat, message. I'd love to hear from people here. What are the hobbies you've had, and probably you're practicing as well? Three things, right? You've practiced, and probably you're doing it. And probably you want to revive it as well. Please go ahead. I'm going to wait in the chat box. Okay, great. Reading books. I will say reading books. Great, nice. Yeah, I agree. Reading books is good because apart from the images, you can probably think maybe a fiction, non-fiction. It's very nice. Oh, Aparna says trekking. Very nice. Very good. Closer you go to nature, amazing. Very, very nice. Great healing moments, and it's very nice. Being close to nature. Paintings. Devarsi Nandapriya says painting is lovely. So I'm sure the minute you draw paintings, I'm sure you go into that zone, right? I think that's something which you do. I don't think people, okay, shuttle. Venkat sees shuttle. Oh, Aishwarya sees dancing. Okay, keep it coming. Listening FM. Okay, very nice. So I think amongst us, we have very many tools, qualities. So I would encourage, in fact, I would like to encourage each of us to probably focus on anything, because to each their own. Probably for some, probably people people have not mentioned. People probably say, I speak to my friends, or probably I watch movies. There could be very many things. So the basic idea here is as long as you're living in that moment, I think that should be fine. And I mean, it should be fairly fine. So I would like to share something which I have recently found, and it is amazing. Maybe if any of you would want to take it up, I'd like you all to, take it up as well. There is a concept of post crossing, postcard. So in fact, how many of you have collected stamps and postcards, or stamps, coins? Philately. Okay, I can see Ishwarya. So sometime back, a few years back, I came across this concept of writing postcards. In fact, how many of you also know that you can actually write postcards today? Are you aware? You are aware, but you're not doing. Okay, let me try to show you some postcards, which I hope I can show you these. And the interesting thing is, these are some postcards which I don't know. Maybe should I just change the settings? It is blurred. Probably I'll just remove the blur for a minute. Yeah, I hope you can see these cards. So the basic idea here is I mean, these are cards which I've received from across the world. I mean, across China, across Russia, across Ukraine. I mean, so there are some very interesting cards, and people write on different themes, different topics. And the basic idea here is, again, this is something which I discovered, and I found it very interesting and fun. Maybe if you guys find something new, please let me know. I'd love to take it up and probably explore as well. So the most important final takeaway to all of you is, hobbies is a lovely initiative. So please go ahead and pick any hobby. I think all these hobbies which each of you have said is amazing. Most importantly, at a personal level, please go ahead and do, because at the end of it, our family, our friends, our people are probably looking to up. And the basic idea here is, while the key topic here is about focus, the most important thing is focus actually helps in enhancing our lives. And the most important thing is, by reducing this distraction, we are more purposeful. We are more, I mean, we focus on what we want to achieve in life, right? Because many times when you, beyond a particular point, we end up earning money, we end up getting a designation, and then done. But at the end of the day, what is the vision we carry for ourselves? What is it we want to share to the community? So I would highly recommend that go ahead, pursue your passion, and be grounded, and follow your hobbies. And wellness, according to me, is more about how much are we stable emotionally, physically, and also at a community level, and how good of an individual human being you want to be to the society. And along that note, what is it we are doing to the community? I mean, as an extended note, there are times where we can contribute our time as well. So it's not necessary we have to give money. There could be some time. So in fact, your time can be given to people out there. So probably you can support an NGO. You can probably take up a trust. You can probably volunteer somewhere. So in fact, there are a lot of possibilities. I try to do some of it, and whichever I share, I mean, whichever I practice, I'm sharing here, and I'm learning from each of you as well. So I can see Aparna, yeah, is another whole lobby extincting. No, Aparna, you're saying extincting? No, there is a big community out there, and if you want to revive, let me know. So I'm happy to introduce you to some more people out there. But thanks so much. I hope I've shared as much of the inputs, and I'm happy to take up some more further questions over and above, which may be there from the audience as well.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. Your insights was it was so thought provoking. As I earlier mentioned, you are telling all those simple things, but we are not focusing on all those simple things. Thank you so much for your wonderful thoughts, sir. Thanks for sharing. Now it's over to you, Pankaj.
Thank you so much, Ishwarya. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Vignesh, sir, for, taking up it so well. Okay. And I can really sense it, when you're talking with so much of conviction, so much of passion about it, right? Because it is when you are yourself, implementing, practicing it. Because see, the only person who can talk with so much of passion is only one who's practicing. And that is what is expected. As you have told multiple times, that everybody knows it. But how much we, take it in our personal life, and how much do we exhibit, that is more important, right? And that is what I can really sense when you're talking about it. Thank you so much for, giving it that conviction that, we know it, but how best we can implement at least one or two things, and that will create that difference, right? So that has been my learning. let's see what people have understood. So we'll have one open quick quiz, okay, and the participants will respond. So I would like to invite our quiz leader for the same. So over to you, Ms. Bharani, quick quiz, and let's see who is the winner today.
Thank you, Pankaj sir. Good evening. Such a nice, insightful session, sir. Thank you so much. Now let's move on to the quiz. Which method helps professionals focus on the most important work instead of getting distracted by less important tasks? This is a question for today. I repeat, which method helps professionals focus on most important work instead of getting distracted by less important tasks? The options are time boxing every task, context switching based on urgency, clustering tasks based on their level of importance, processing tasks in chronological order. I will post it in the chat box. Kindly check it out.
Pankaj, you are on mute.
Oh, again.
Sukumaranji, I was waiting that you will be answering or not, and as usual, you answered, Sukumaranji. Great.
We know already.
Sukumaranji is our class best student and first student. All the time
No,
he'll answer
no,
all the questions.
it is not correct answer.
Yeah, it's actually
It is not correct answer. Yet we
Good.
need.
Very smart question, huh? This time,
Yeah.
Bharani.
So, Vanika, we have multiple
Yes,
answers now.
we got the answer. Aparna
Okay.
Sampath ma'am is today's winner.
Very
Okay.
nice.
Clustering task based on their level of importance is the correct answer. Option C.
Okay,
thank
good
you.
one, Bharanika. So congratulations, Miss Aparna Sampath, for being the winner. So you will get a book from one of the author of our author of the month, and Arul will do the needful. And a bonus for you is to unmute yourself and ask quick question to our guest. So that's a bonus win for you today. Aparna ji.
Thank you, Pankaj, and thank you, sir, for such a good lecture. I hope I'm audible, right?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So, Vignesh, sir, it was just insightful session. So, my question is, you said cognitive skills. Now, cognitive skills, everybody are talking and all that, but how? And now I think schools are introducing, and this younger generation is much aware of it. But people like my generation, I'm from a old generation. So, how can we implement, or how do we? I mean, for us, they said multitasking is very good. You should learn, you should do everything quickly, and all that was what they were saying. So, what do you say? How do we
I would
practice?
like to know a little bit more on the nature of work, and then probably I can address it, because like I said, the context may change on the basis of individuals. So if you can probably share a pinch of your work and probably your work schedule, then I will probably suggest or propose what works, what can be done, or what should not be done. I mean, that much I can help you with.
Okay, I am a behavioral trainer, and I use theater methodology and all that about my background. But this question was for somebody who's at a mid-management level. I think of my age, I was just wanted to know about that crowd, that how do they now cultivate the habit of developing cognitive skills, and how do they focus like that? So maybe mid-management level people.
Let me give it a try. So basic idea here is, today access to information is a crazy part. So the most important thing is how much you cram and how much you deploy, because there's always the fight between cramming as much you want, but there's only limited aspect on how much you can deliver. So I think it's a judicious mix of how much you will want to learn, and how much you want to practice. So I think to address it in your situation, or probably a person of your caliber, or probably the mid-management level, like I said, the importance is the knowledge acquisition is one part, but the deployment of that in terms of facilitation. So you did take the example of maybe theater or improv as a specific example. If let's say, if I'm probably learning a new technique or new aspect, so I can probably have 10, I can keep learning 10, 20 and keep doing as much. But the most important thing is if I'm not able to deploy these, there's no point of it. So I think has to be a balance between how much I adopt new and how much I'm deploying. So I think that is an important aspect, because otherwise people always try to take up as much certifications for ourselves,
Yeah.
but they miss out on using these, so which is not useful
Implementing.
to us. Yeah, so which is where I think the simplest thing which I would recommend is, it need not be, because many times we always think any or many of the initiatives will have to be on a paid basis, right? Because I've invested in certain aspect, so I will have to monetize. So don't
Yeah.
think about it. So I mean, the idea and intent is for ourselves to be better facilitators. So can I probably take stage and probably deliver? It can be students, it can be professionals, it can be a team, it could be a small set of people, it could be a group. So the idea here is, whatever facet has been learned, are we practicing? Are we applying? I think that is the most important, because I mean that I hope will be useful, because no
Yeah,
in deploying if we are not using it.
Not only learning, we'll have to insist on practicing that first and then move on to the next
Absolutely.
learning. That's what you
That
have
goes without saying.
just
Absolutely.
hope summarized properly.
Wonderful. Yeah, perfect.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. So, Arul, we can have one more question from our visitors, and then we go forward. So, Arul, just check if there is anyone who's asking a question. Please help them to unmute. If not, then I would like to share. I mean, rather, I would like Arul to share a very important announcement. Okay, regarding the upcoming rocket goals. So, Arul,
Thank you, Pankaj. Thank you
please
so
share.
much.
Yeah.
Yes. And thank you all for joining today's episode. And thank you, Vignesh. Thank you so much for joining us as a guest speaker today. And it's a great insight from your side. And yes, I just want to share about upcoming Rocket Goals event. Like, we all connect every week Wednesday through online, and every 3 months once we connect offline in different locations. And then we have Rocket Goals 20. The event is happening in Chennai. The date of 11th July 2026, which is Saturday, and the time is 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. followed by dinner. So the venue is Savera Hotel Chennai. I look forward to meet you all directly there. So all the leaders, members who joined online, everyone will be joining for the offline event. So this is our 20.0 event. So everyone, I look forward to meet you directly. So Vignesh sir will definitely send you a personal invitation from my side. So definitely please do join with us for the Rocket Goals event. So this time the topic is science of well-being, because the objective is health goals. So the topic is science of well-being, and we have two distinguished guest speaker, and we have one moderator, Mr. Kalishwan. So for the registration link, I'll put it in the chat box. So people who are interested and wanted to connect, reflect, and grow, please do join us for the Rocket Goals event. Thank you so much. Over to you, Pankaj. You're on mute.
Thank you so much, Arul.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arul, for sharing. So all the visitors are requested to make it for the rocket goals. And as we move forward, as we are we're coming to the conclusion of the session, I would like to invite our our summary leader, Dr. Ms. Ishwarya, for a quick summary, please.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ishwarya, and I'll be summarizing today's event. Focus has become a commodity in this busy world with the amount of distractions. Employees must analyze the level of distractions they are facing. We should also understand the difference between urgency and importance to maintain work-life balance. In an interaction with students, it is found that people spend 8 hours a day on gadgets, and out of that, 6 hours is spent on social media. Everyone can do multitasking as long as there is no conflicting activities. The leaders must clearly communicate what is expected out of the team. Multitasking is not possible when both the activities require heavy mental energy. Having clarity of thought can also help in prioritizing our work. Stay clear of any form of digital devices before sleep. We can also switch off notifications on the internet as it is not needed all the time. Companies can follow the huddle up culture in order to stay focused and come up with new ideas. Automate your tasks whenever possible, but also focus on areas which AI cannot replace, and building our skills in that area is also important. Stay present and take up hobbies that interest you. Thank you so much.
Very, very nicely done, Aishwarya. Very nice. Nice.
Thank you.
Amazing. You put the entire thing in a matter of 30-40 seconds. Amazing. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ishwarya. So as we move forward and come to the last section of the session, I would like to invite Ms. Nandupriya for the word of thanks, please.
Very good evening, one and all. My name is D. Nandupriya. When discussions are driven by clarity and data, organizations are better equipped to position talent and build resilient workforces. Let me quickly share once again the purpose of this driving community. Leaders Content 360 Foundation is a non-profit organization aligned with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals SDGs. We have a hybrid leadership community bringing leaders together every Wednesday from 6:30 p.m. to 7:15 p.m., where experts from the diverse fields share practical solutions to the real-time leaders challenges. Just like the valuable insights we received today and the focus in a distracted world, every last week of this month we got a step further by inviting authors to share insights from their books, helping us evolve as leaders and lifelong learners. I exerted my deepest gratitude to our esteemed guest, Mr. Vignesh Raja, advisor YNOS, Verniers Engine, Strategy Consultancy, and keynote speaker for his insightful and thought-provoking perspectives. A special thanks to our panel discussion leader, Dr. Ishwarya J, and our moderator, Mr. Pankaj Vyas, for streaking today's discussion so effectively and making it truly impactful. And now, as a small token of our appreciation, we present a special thank you video for expressing our gratitude. See you all by the next week, Wednesday. Until that, keep learning, keep growing. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thanks so much, Nandupriya, and thanks once again
Thanks,
to the Leaders Connect 360 team. Thanks Arunji, thanks Pankaj ji, and thanks Dr. Aishwarya ji for having me, and thanks also to all the participants who've been here, putting in questions, putting in inputs, and also be actively contributing and participating. I really wish the good luck and best wishes to all the events you're organizing, the July event, as well as all the events you're organizing. Thanks so much, and I'm looking forward to staying connected and also participating in your upcoming events. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. We look forward, sir. We look forward to be in touch with us and connect with us. Thank you so much. Have a great evening, sir. Thanks for coming in. And Arul, can we have thanking video and anything you want to add to, sir, please?
Yeah. Thank you, Vignesh. Thank you so much for accepting graciously to be the guest of honor for today's episode. Thank you so much. That adds more value. I request you to stay connected with Leaders Connect Foundation, sir. I would love to add you in the group. So please be joined and let's look forward to have a long journey. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I'll share the thanking video now. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Pankaj.
Thank you so much, Arul. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great evening and week ahead, and we look forward to join again next week, Wednesday, 6:15, and also we look forward to join for the topic goals. Thank you so much. Thank you.